Open mic.
Let's see, age yourself with a store that no longer exists. Hey, who's coming to Zare? All right, we're gonna hit highs on the way home. Maybe a little Hex, a little Heckinger. Shout out to my man, Tony Perkins. One of his first jobs was at Zare, apparently. Good evening, welcome to Open Mic. We like to start things off with a few hot takes on news stories you won't find anywhere else. You know, we have to start things out right in PG. Landover, where Washington Commanders rookie Sam Howell led the team to a win against our hated rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. So they had Howell this whole time and still played Carson Wentz. Yeah, they deserve to watch the playoffs. But what really has folks excited, this might have been Dan Snyder's last game as owner of the franchise. Woo! Fans took to social media sharing their excitement over Dan Snyder's tenure potentially ending. This tweet from Barstool DMV shows a skeleton waving in a sell the team shirt that reads "Me" when it's probably the last Commanders game with Dan Snyder as owner. Sad but true. And this one from Brian Murphy, which read, "Please, dear Lord, let this be the last game ever of the Dan Snyder era." That's a win no matter what happens today. And you know what? My man brought the Lord into it. I hope Snyder's leaving for real, but I don't get excited about anything involving this team until I see it happen. 20 years of bad ownership will do that. This fan base deserves therapy for collective trauma. But we did beat the Cowboys, and that always feels good. That and watching them implode in pressure situations, which will be happening in the next week or two. Let's stay in D.C. for this next story. A new Chamber of Commerce study showed that Washington, D.C. is the loneliest city in America. The loneliest city. I don't know about that. I mean, D.C. has too many bottomless brunches to be the loneliest city in America. And it turns out the study is based on the percentage of people who live alone in one-person households. D.C. tops the list at 48.2%. Now, look, living alone in D.C. does not mean you're lonely. It means you're successful. You know how much rent is in this city? If you are a single man with no roommates, chances are you are cleaning up. City boys! It is the people with 5 or 6 roommates they meet off Craigslist that are lonely. Look, I ain't judging because I've been there. We've all been there. But it's hard to find love when y'all have to keep it down so the rest of the house doesn't know your business. Now, I chose this next story out of D.C. because it made international headlines. Gervonta Tank Davis's fight at Capital One Arena in downtown D.C. was temporarily stopped midway through the 8th round due to a ringside scuffle involving rapper Meek Mill and boxer Gary Russell Jr., along with Russell's brothers Antonio and Gary, by the way, who are also boxers. Wow. One rapper against 3 professional fighters. Meek was about to find out what dreams and nightmares were really about in front of millions on pay-per-view. This was so crazy, they even got Wallow involved in it, and he's like the most peaceful man who's ever lived. The people getting paid to fight had to actually stop fighting because other people looked like they were about to fight. That should never happen, especially in the expensive seats. That is nosebleed section behavior. The best fights happen in the nothing to lose part of the arena. Just ask the Sons and 4 guy. The hashtag only in DC was trending after this happened. But since Meek Mill was involved, I think Philly needs to take at least half of this L. By the way, the Russell brothers are from DC, so we'll claim responsibility for the half that would have actually won the fight. Thankfully, nobody was hurt and the fight resumed. Congratulations to Tank Davis on his win, and congratulations to Meek Mill for not getting destroyed by men who get paid to beat people up. The real winner was me, since I got to see a Twitter scuffle derail a whole prize fight. I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Meek's about to fight me, thanks for what I did to his song. But thankfully, Twitter put up the video of Meek hitting the heavy bag, so I'll be good. We're headed to Capitol Hill for this last story, where Congressman and fictional resume author George Santos will start off his first week in office facing a formal ethics complaint from the Federal Election Commission for bogus claims he made while running for office.
Santos, a Republican, has admitted to lying about his education, work experience, and even his faith. The Republican district attorney of Nassau County says she's looking into whether any of those fabrications amounted to crimes. And federal prosecutors are also looking into Santos's financial disclosures.
I can't be the only one at the end of that thought she said even his fade. Like, dang, he lied about his haircut? That is right. Investigate everything. I don't even believe his name is George Santos. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out it's something like Hector McFraud-Shyster and that this is his Better Call Saul alias. I'll tell you this, George Santos appears to be the least honest person in Congress, and that is hard to do. He is the political version of Dr. Love. The FEC is accusing Santos of illegally using campaign funds for personal expenses, including renting an apartment and submitting false information about where he got his campaign donations, as well as his campaign's expenses. So this guy was using campaign funds to pay rent. The only way this story could get any crazier is if he used his war chest to buy a diamond-encrusted chain with a Donald Trump Jesus piece. I tell you this, he should start writing a memoir because his days in Congress sound numbered. From legislature to lockup, the George Santos story. I can see it now. And by the way, expect him to take some creative liberties because we know he's good at that. My favorite story? I gotta go watching George Santos's world fall apart. One day his name will be synonymous with lies like, hey, don't you Santos me, bro. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Throwback to people of my age.